everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm here with my what's happenings for May. What did I do, what kind of projects am I working on, and well, all of that good stuff. My cat is very vocal today. Yeah, if it was up to her, I was cuddling her while I'm speaking, so you might hear her. I thought let's start with well, the decks I've been using, the ones that came also new into my practice, but also some oldies that I maybe paired with some new ones that came in. I did buy a few decks. Some were planned, like this one, Kyle's Gray Gateway of Light Activation Oracle. I've mentioned it in I'm checking, there's like something happening. I mentioned it in another video, I think a play with me with this deck. I had a certain reading I wanted to do, and I remembered that Don Michelle was using this deck in a portal kind of way, and it was exactly what I was looking for. When I saw her video about this, the video was awesome, her approach was awesome. It was just not a deck in that moment, you know, that I was really looking at. But then when my when a certain reading was done for the deck and walk, it talked about this portal or gateway to the Whatz, the Egyptian underworld. And I was like, oh, maybe I can do that reading with this deck, you know. And it's mass market, yes, it's still around the 20 euros here. But it was worth it for me to give it a try to see if I could, well, work with it in that way. And even though I made some progress, I'm still working on it. There is a certain reading I'm working on that I like, but I'm not yet, I don't have yet that aha moment, right? That yes, this is what I want. But yeah, we will see. I have it, so I can play with it in different ways to see, yeah, how this could be put in use, you know, for me to actually make that a reading I will put into my practice. Still a little bit under the weather. I'm afraid you're gonna hear it in my voice as well. But it's getting a little bit better, and well, I wanted to do the wrap up for this month. That also means that, well, the decks that were on my desk, they can actually get their permanent place in my tarot closet, so to speak, you know. So yeah, again, I just wanted to do the wrap up. I was in the mood for it. So this was the Gateway of Light activation. Like I said, it had a very specific purpose into how I wanted to use it. So yeah, when I bought it, it was definitely with intention. So this one was a plan, so to speak. But while I was on Amazon looking for this, Amazon also gave me a recommendation. Which was the Uncommon Tarot. And I've looked at it before and I liked it, but I never really yet pulled the trigger, so to speak, into buying it. It's gilded, which is hard. It's harsh on the hands, so I'm not the biggest fan, but we will see. So yes, I like it. I definitely do. In all honesty, I don't have a specific purpose for it yet. It was definitely an impulse buy, but I think this would be a good deck as an all-rounder, right? I think you can do a lot of things with a collage art kind of deck. It's not limited to only one practice. So even though, like I said, it's not like I have a specific use for this deck, I don't regret getting it. I definitely like what I'm seeing. So that was very interesting. I ended up pairing it. It became a great pair with another deck I will show you, which I was not expecting. I was playing with that other deck and I pulled in this deck purely because it was new to me, you know. and it ended up actually being the best pair out of, well, a bunch. Yeah, so definitely an interesting deck. There is some diversity. I do wish there was more, but there is at least some, which is a good thing. I don't like all white decks if there's not a purpose. Like I said, in all honesty, when it's like this Renaissance or Victorian kind of art, I'm not expecting too much diversity, and I'm cool with that, you know, because at the end of the day, if I would get a hoodoo related deck or an Orisha deck, I'm not expecting to see white people. You know what I mean? So in that sense, oh, this one, I actually love this Tower card. It's something about the colors or something. I would not mind if this one popped up. So yeah, like I said, it's diverse enough. Yeah, it's fun. It actually is definitely a fun deck. So no regrets here, even though, yeah, it was not a deck I planned on getting. I think I saw it on Marine's channel, The Waves of Your Soul, if I say that correctly. I think she did a video about, okay, I don't know about, but this one came in and she talked about it as a mass market and that it was one of her favorites. I remember looking at it then, and I think this is why Amazon was like, well, recommending it again, you know? So yeah, no regrets. Another one, which was actually a second-hand one, the Stunning Tarot, the second edition, the small one. In all honesty, I've looked at these decks of, okay, I'm always, Johanna Jaus or something. I'm sorry, I'm horrible. I've looked at these decks before, and it's not like they're bad, don't get me wrong, but I never really saw, well, what all the fuss was about, so to speak. So when I saw it secondhand, it was pretty cheap. So in all honesty, it was really about, okay, what is the fuss all about, you know? Let me check this out, because, well, for that price, you know, I just wanted to see. And I ended up actually being really surprised. The limited color palette, in the sense of the way it's done. I mean, it looks very colorful, of course, but here we see the yellow, white, and sometimes some black coming back. In the pink, it's the same, the black and white with the pink. So in that sense, limited color, yeah. And I don't know what it was that was not attractive to me, or to me at least when I looked at it before, like, yeah, I don't know. But when I was playing with it this time, and I did a quick reading, I was actually really surprised. Pleasantly. So yes, definitely pleasantly surprised. I was looking if I wanted a bigger one, but I'm not really liking the colors in the bigger one. So I think I'm good with this one. So yeah, definitely a surprise for myself as well, that this one came in and I was actually liking it as much as I did. So yeah, that was the Stunning Tarot. Again, it was not something I planned. It was secondhand, it was cheap. I wanted to see what the fuss was about. Another one, which was secondhand, because where I live, there was a flea market, and I went over it with my daughter. She's 16, and she has this period now for retro clothes, you know. So she was like, well, let's see, right? And I was like, well, you never know. I mean, Belgium, it is a tarot kind of country in that sense. So I was hoping to get some decks, and I actually, in the last minute, people are already cleaning out their, cleaning up again, you know, their stuff back in the cars. I actually found the Karma cards. This is the Dutch version, but it's the 1988 one or something. Let me see. I have the box, but yeah, the box is really falling apart. Yeah, 1988. So the book and everything was still perfect, you know. You see that it's a little bit aged. So yeah, and the cards as well, you can definitely see and, well, smell. Well, not now, my nose is completely not working. So you can definitely see that it's aged, but perfect still. So yes, even though it's Dutch, and I do prefer, even though Dutch is my, well, mother's tongue, I do prefer my cards in English. However, I think I got it for €3, so I could not pass that up, you know. I've been playing with it, and I think it's very fun. There's a definite structure to it. Well, there's also a simplicity to it. But again, yeah, definitely a lot of fun. So, yeah, these are the karma cards. Again, the Dutch version, but still fun. Still fun. I cannot smell it anymore, but I took them out of the box in the hope that they would breathe a little bit, you know? Because they actually smelled like a really, really old book. And yeah, like I said, even the book itself still stiff, you know. I don't see that this deck has really had some use. So yeah, the karma cards. That was a good find for €3. And well, the last deck I bought were the Intuitive Life Coaching Oracle, or at least bought in the sense of, well, you will see what I mean. I saw some pictures of this deck. Yeah, so I saw some pictures of this deck, and I actually instantly, well, fell a little bit in love. They changed, my view at least changed when I got them, because when I looked at them online or on the picture, they looked like this vintage kind of thing, you know, which I loved. Then when I had it, some cards are a little bit different because it is abstract art. Then when I paired it with, well, vintage kind of, or vintage looked kind of decks, it felt modern. When I put it with certain modern decks, it felt vintage again. So I was really confused with this deck. I did a video about it, a play with me, where I paired it with multiple decks, and actually the Uncommon Tarot really was a good fit, which I think if you picture it like this, you're still not going to see, but when you put them together, it was super fun. I didn't know about this deck. I mean, I think it was 2020 or so when this already came out. I didn't know. Yeah, this one completely, yeah, flew by me. I had no clue. But I like it because, well, you have the card, you have this key phrase, and then, okay, this is not the corresponding card, but here in the booklet, you also have some questions. So, yeah, so I thought it would be fun if we pulled one, to check out the questions, and even if you phrase them a little bit differently, use those questions to actually pull the tarot cards around it and expand your reading in that sense, you know? So yeah, again, even though I was still a little bit confused when I just got it, it was not what I was expecting. I still like what I saw, but because my expectations were different, yeah, I really needed to adjust my view, my perspective, to see how I could or wanted to work with this deck. But again, I think I did, because again, I did the play with me video and I paired it with some decks and had some fun with it, you know. So yeah, this one will be safe for now. Again, it was a lot of fun. Different than I was expecting, but definitely not bad different, you know. Then I did buy some other decks, but that was about the ones that I made myself. So of course I still need to buy that if I let them be printed, you know. I did a do-over for my Desiderata cards. I think I showed them before. That was a deck, 16 cards, about, well, the things we yearn for. But I really did that like printer. Yeah, it was printed, and then it was with transparent contact paper. So definitely very basic. The art was something else. And I did some playing with that deck with a new design. And I ended up, well, printing them out. So then I have a different version. I didn't get rid of my other version, even though it's really not my style. That too was playing with an idea. But yeah, I think I like this one much better. And well, I got two versions. So yeah, this is very directed in that sense, you know, because even though you have 16 cards, it's about, well, again, things that are yearned for. So if I would pick a card, okay, it's about health, which is kind of funny because, well, I'm sick right now, so I do yearn for my health. So I got three tiny keywords here: vulnerabilities, morality, or mortality, I'm sorry, and endurance. So I can build my reading around that if I choose to, you know. So that's a little bit how I use them. These are my backings. I still like my backings. So even though it's a smaller deck, it was one that I had before. This was just a new design, you know. So I printed that one out. Another one. In all honesty, I don't have a name. I think in my folder I called it Ancestral Faces. Because this one is definitely very practice oriented. I did in my unboxing videos of all these decks, I did a quick pairing with my Antique Blacks Tarot, and even though I was doubting it in that video, I came to actually love it. But there's another pairing I like too. Even though this deck only has like 37 cards, there is a lot of power for me in that deck. This is not one I've been playing with a lot because, again, it has a very specific purpose for me. As has this deck, the Antique Blacks. This is really practice oriented, in root work, healing, and, well, all that, you know. So this is how I planned on working with it. I did some, well, I cannot call it practice readings, and it's also not really play, but I had them communicating in a sort of way. And again, this is, I think, why I came back to this one, being, well, great for what I wanted to use it for. However, let me pull this one away. There was also another one. Sorry. So yeah, there was also my, showed this one also before because this too is a self-made one. This is my Adrinka symbol deck. Let me pull these in the back. And then it's just one-on-one. I could do more, but it's more, I think the power was enough for both to have one, yeah. Yeah, and see, here we go different. I actually had them like this. Does that matter? Well, maybe not, but when I'm reading already, you know, I see the how it flows, yeah. manifest skillfulness and precision. Channeling courage, valor, and heroism. Release jealousy and envy. See, this is what I mean. We're just flipping through, and even now, yeah, 3 cards in, there are 3 perfect messages, right? Roots, peace, balance, harmony. So I would say find my roots, yeah, by finding my peace, balance, and harmony. Freedom, democracy, unity. I mean, come on. This is what I meant. These 2, yeah, they did something. They really did something. Energy exchange, security, safety. I mean, movement, guardianship. Pain, adaptability. Yeah, and I've told you about this deck before. This was printed myself, you know. It's messy. It's definitely anything but perfect, but I still love it. I could redo this one and print it perfectly, but there's something holding me back. So I'm good. I'm good for now. Overcome, bravery, valor. Innocence, wisdom, ingenuity, and intelligence. Possibilities, hardiness, toughness, perseverance. Wisdom in perishability and endurance. So yeah, as you can see, they definitely have a communication going, you know. And I think it's not weird, you know, even though this too is definitely a black deck, but this is for me, I did a whole video about this one. This one is for me definitely focused, yeah, because this is a root workers deck. And I think in this one, yeah, it finds more of, oh, how do I say that? It's open enough, you know, to interpret, to play around with the interpretation, to feel your way around what is actually meant. And I think therein lies the difference, because you have that space, it flows better. And this one, again, definitely not bad. I love this deck, but because it's a little bit more focused, if I would use this in a specific practice, I might pair it with this. And if I want to use it more in an open way, I don't know if I'm articulating this correctly. But yeah, I think this would be the perfect pairing. Simple, but anything, it does what it needs to do here. I mean, sadness, law, justice, slavery, captivity. I mean, do I need to say more? So yes, this one was a surprise. I was not planning it. I was just pulling in some decks when I was looking at this one. And again, I was pleasantly surprised with this one. Before I actually took it out of his little baggie, I was like, oh, this might be a good one. And then, well, magic happened, you know. I mean, spiritual warfare, majesty, supremacy of God. Oh my God. I really love this. So yeah, these 2, yeah, there is something going on, and I'm absolutely loving it. And in all honesty, I'm not gonna boast or lie, but it is, I love it because, well, I made these decks both myself, you know. So the fact that they're communicating that well with each other is just icing on the cake for me. So yeah, and like I said, this one I had done already for some time now. But this one I made and, well, I actually got in beginning of this month. Which again, I was very happy with. I mean, even the bag, right? Well, the bag I had here in storage. Didn't use it yet because most of my decks are bigger. This one is a little bit smaller. So yeah, it fitted perfectly. Even the color matched, you know. So that was a beautiful thing. And this one, well, I made some fuss about because a lot of people were asking if I could sell it. I didn't even think about it, and yes, I could sell it because it was all done with copyright-free imagery, you know. This is the back. So I named this one. What did I name this one? The Divine Earth Oracle, I think it was. Yes. This one was made with a specific purpose in mind, and that was to pair with my Somnia Tarot. Of course, it can pair with other decks as well. For me, again, the creation in itself, it was done with the Somnia Tarot in mind. So, wait. I think I did well. I did a little bit of squealing in my unboxing of my own decks, you know, because you know that even if you have this thing going on while you're creating it, and you're happy with what you created, you're satisfied, the moment you put it where you want to put it next to, and that click happens, it's, I mean, again, that was just cherry on top of the cake for me, you know. So yes, it ended up being a beautiful deck, but it ended up actually doing the job that I created it for, which again was the pairing of my Somnia Tarot. I just couldn't find anything that worked for me with the Somnia, and I'm now in this place that, well, if I cannot find anything, or if it doesn't work for me, I'm not gonna be sad or fight that, you know, or keep looking until, well, my head hurts. I know now that I have the option to create something, and because I'm now, well, I think I have over the 10 decks now that I created myself. It's a great bonding thing when you make that deck yourself. Before you even have it in your hand, there's already a bond, you know. So yeah, if something, if there's something I want and I cannot find it, I actually love to take the time, you know, and make it. So yes, this one, it was definitely made for the Somnia Tarot. I do have it now on makeplayingcards.com. There are two versions because you will not find it in this version in that sense. The imagery and everything is the same, but I have a tarot size one, and I made one bigger in an oracle kind of size. Both are available on makeplayingcards.com. I'm sorry. I will put the page in the description, that if you're interested, please feel free to get yourself a copy. So yes. And I think you can see it with the coloration, because again, this was in my mind that this needed to match too. And of course, it will match with other decks as well. For me, in that sense, I wasn't really focused. I just needed a great oracle to work with my, well, Somnia Tarot, as I said, right? So yes, this one did get a name because, again, people were interested. So I wanted to put it up where people would be having, well, having easy access to it, right? With makeplayingcards.com, for if you're coming from Europe and you're watching this video, there is no VAT cost, yeah, because that will be, it's like they ship through this Luxembourg company, which again makes us able to avoid custom costs, which is a good thing. This is why I put it on makeplayingcards.com. It makes it easy for people to get their hands on, you know. So yes, that's this one. I'm definitely a fan, of course. But I'm biased. I'm biased, definitely. And yeah, I cannot make bags. Yeah, don't look at my weird bags, because I was not made on, I was not put on this earth yet to, well, make bags. I can be very creative, but in this case, yeah, it's for protection. It's definitely not beautiful. So let's see, what else do I have here? Oh yeah, this one I already showed. That were the 16 ones, the Desiderata cards. Okay, another deck I let be printed, but this is not my creation. Is the Vintage Botanical Oracle. Yeah, so the Vintage Botanical Oracle, it was done by Nicole Hanna. She did the image editing. And apparently the art, let me show you some. So this part, the botanical art, it came from Franz Eugene Kohlers. He wrote over 4 volumes of medicinal plants, and it was published in 1887 in Germany. But because he was dead over 75 years ago or so, it became copyright free. And Nicole Hanna, she did the editing with, the oracle parts in that sense. I think in the 4 volumes of the book, there was something about over 300 botanicals. And this deck, well, with those, we have 100 cards. So that is awesome, right? I mean, I know that there are other options out there. I think the closest for me would maybe be the Botanical Inspirations Oracle. I don't have that deck. I've looked at it many times, and every time something held me back. I don't know why. I mean, there are 44 cards, which is not bad. I mean, it could be better, but it's not bad. However, as a root worker, I would love to have more botanical decks. However, because I look at certain things very specifically, yeah, I find it a problem in some. Also, when I have 44 cards and there are like 2 or 3 that I actually actively work with, I feel this disconnect. And here again, I got 100 cards, and I love these old style drawings, you know. For me, there's nothing better than these old style drawings. So when I saw this one, I actually put it in a folder. I did the design how I wanted them to be printed, and then I kind of forgot about them, in all honesty. And when I went in my folders to check for the decks I wanted to have printed, this one popped a little bit up again in that sense, and I was like, well, it's gonna be now or never, right? Because I have so many decks in that folder, and I cannot do them all at the same time, because I'm not gonna lie, I love making my own decks, but it is pricey, you know? When I want a certain cardstock, my printer, the one that I work with, is absolutely amazing. I love them to bits. But again, it is gonna be pricey. So yeah, every time, maybe 2, maximum 3 normally decks, you know. This time there were 4 because I wanted this one printed this time. So yeah, like I said, of course, the Botanical Inspirations Oracle, it's mass market, it would be cheaper, but I love the fact that I have this big chunker, right? With the other cards, I had a bigger GSM. For this one, I did a little bit thinner one because I needed flexibility, yeah? Because, well, I have 100 cards here. They need to be able to move. And yeah, with this, it's possible. Even though, again, it was a big, thick deck. So I was really happy this month with this deck. And I started to take out, well, some oldies but goodies, you know. I took out my Hoodoo deck, and I took out my Conjure cards. And then, not new, I think I got it beginning of this year, or end of this year, end of last year, I think even, that it came in. Between the Worlds. Normally I love to pair these two, Between the Worlds and my Conjure cards, or I use this with my bones, but with this one I was doing a little bit like this experiment kind of thing. I would have, I'm hoping I'm still in frame. uh, let me see. So yes, I would have it a little bit like this, and now of course everything is big or small, so it's not really matching. I would pull in 2 cards of tarot, and then with the tarot, because these clarify each other a little bit, then we have the 2 tarot, which, well, will go together in that sense, and well, then we clarify, or well, put in that extra message with these. And I was having so much fun with this kind of pairing, you know. Really was loving it. Yeah, this one is really, it's big. Like I said, I got 100 cards here. This is a little bit better. So yeah, this setup I was absolutely loving. I did try with these. I did like my Antiques Anatomy also. And with this, I also definitely like my Southern Gothic botanical one. But yeah, this is how it started, and then I started to play again. But yeah, this one was definitely something I was definitely loving. There was a lot of fun. So it's always fun when you can pull in some decks that, well, you have already loved for a longer time, and I definitely do that with my Hoodoo Tarot, as with my Conjure cards. And yeah, like I said, even though it's not new, but yeah, Between the Worlds is, well, a few months I have it now then, right? Like I said, it came in at the end of last year, I think literally the last day. So let's say beginning of this year. And even though it's not a deck I will pull out every day, I wish it was a little bit bigger, even though I do like, at the same time, I do like that it's small. But yeah, with pairing, the smallness is sometimes a factor for me. Because I would never just put these 2 together. That would drive me bonkers. Which is stupid, I know, but it still would drive me bonkers. And again, that's just not going to work for me. That might be weird, but it's not gonna work for me. So yes, definitely a fun deck, and especially in this combination, it's really like, how you say that, it's all my roots, right? I mean, the bone throwing with Between the Worlds is almost like, well, my bone set on a card, right? As a root worker, oh, I love this deck. I'm so in love with this deck. But oh my god, it really is fat. And yeah, my Hoodoo Tarot. Do I need to explain more? Conjure cards, same. So yeah, this one, I will put it in the description again, because the imagery is free. You know, you cannot sell it to another. So this is not a deck I can sell. However, I can direct you to her website, where you can download the imagery, and then, well, it's up to you to find a printer, you know, which will print it for you if you're interested. But again, yeah, for me, this one with 100 cards, there are a lot of plants here that I'm actually using, that I'm actually use in my practice as a root worker. Sassafras, yes. Okay, silver fir, not so much. Hemlock, yes. Coltsfoot, yes. Well, not the Alexandra one, but senna, yes. Common hop, not so much. Sweet almond, yes. A golden seal, you know what I mean? Like, there are a lot here that I'm actually using. Some more than others, but overall, they are in use. This one, I mean, come on. So the fact that I have this huge selection here, you know, with all these different plants and herbs, yeah, that, because even then, if I see it, like aloe, you know, the time between, if that would not make sense to me in a reading, I can always go on my, well, on how I would see it, you know. So that for me is a big plus. Yeah, I can say nothing else. I'm loving this deck. Definitely a huge hit. No regrets that I actually finally have let it be printed. I think why that didn't happen, when I was playing the first time with printing some of my creations, like, well, the one I showed you that was really printed horribly, this one, even though I love this one. Um, these were 100. Yeah, I mean, I think I have 60 here, and this was already drama, you know. And the paper that I had was actually wonderful, but as you saw, it stained a lot, and that was even in black and white, and that was very basic. It was a symbol and there were words, and even that, yeah, it almost was not possible. So I already knew by that time that this was not going to happen. If I would printed this, you know, it would have been, well, a hot mess. um, so I think this is why it stayed there and nothing ever happened with it. By the time I actually found a printer, I think it was for my Bob Marley deck. It was one of my first decks. Let me see, yeah. I have showed it a few times, but just, well, why not? It was one of the decks that I made, and then I was like, okay, but I really want a good printer for this, because, well, I cannot do it, you know. And I actually found a printer that would do a set just for one, you know. Again, it was pricey, but, well, this was my Bob Marley. I mean, worth every penny, right? And then when it came in, again, you have this imagination of what you're gonna get, or what you made and how they will print it. But when it came in, oh, you can ask my daughter. I think I drove her nuts. Yeah, I was squealing, and I was jumping for joy. It's basically that. I was jumping for joy. But because not only did they print one, then I had this one, and the quality was so amazing. I loved every bit of it. This is where that spark really started. Well, it really started, you know, because I did some design for decks, but I never really, well, had that printed. So this lit up that design part again. And now certain designs that I made, I can actually have printed, you know. And that's actually a great, what do we call that? Where's my bag? Oh, that's actually a great overlap, because I will be talking and I will be showing some pictures in the screen about some projects that I'm actually working on. There are two major projects. And yeah, I will pop them in the screen now. My first project is a deck, which is, well, I would say African spirituality related, you know. There are a lot of concepts in there that, well, if you practice any kind of African spirituality practice, you gotta recognize. So yes, in all honesty, it is gonna be quite, well, what's the word, directed, or more precise, you know. I think I'm showing in the video 9 cards or something. I think for this project I'm up to, well, 26 or 27 cards I have now, because that is a project dear to my heart. Everything needs to be precise. It needs to be, well, because everything has a meaning in this one. Nothing is just decorative, you know. Every part that I put on that card, again, has meaning. So it's a slow process, but a process definitely worth it. I mean, I picked some of my favorites, but even that was hard because out of the 30, I ended up, I think, downloading 20 pictures, and then I still needed to make a choice, you know. So I think I will be showing 9 or something in the description. So this is a project I'm working on. I'm really loving, and yes, if you're watching and you love what you see, when this deck is done, it will be for sale. I do love it. Like I said, it's a project dear to my heart. But yeah, this is one I'm working on now. And another one I will pop in. Okay, how do I explain that one? I'm working on a black photographic Thoth deck. Again, I will pop right now, yeah, the 9 cards I picked to show here. I'm almost done with this deck. I think I have 2 or 3 majors, and then I have the court cards I still need to do. So, in all honesty, it's not like I'm gonna be done in a day. But this one, I actually have been focusing in this last month really on this one. So this one might actually be done next month, hopefully. We will see. We will see, because there are still things that need to be tweaked, you know. So with the Thoth, it's very esoteric. I love the Thoth. I love everything about the Thoth. Yeah, it's the deck of my heart. However, yeah, there's a lot happening in there that's, even to this day, me, yeah, I might have learned about it like 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago. And now I'm not focusing. I forget that it actually had a meaning, you know? So I was actually dissecting it, and I was playing around with making a photographic one. And I started with the minors, just the numbered ones. So A's through 10. Which were pippish, as you can see. There is definitely color association and well, mood, would I almost say. But then when I came to the majors, as again you will see in the pictures, I was actually really thinking about making that again an Afrocentric based, you know. Why not? I mean, the only other one that I'm aware of, yeah, is the Mysteries of the Black Medusa Tarot, which is the first Black Thoth deck in that sense. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. I did a whole walkthrough of it. That will surprise me greatly, you know. I love that deck. But again, I was playing around with this idea. So it's gonna be, as you can see, with black people, you know, of ages and colors and or different tones in that sense. But I was having a lot of fun, and I'm actually liking how it turns out, you know. I don't know if this would be something I'm gonna sell. I don't even know if people would be interested. If you are, let me know. I might put it also on Make Playing Cards. But again, we will see. But the project, again, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm having fun putting things directly in there that are also on the cards, but I'm also having fun when I cannot do that literally, because I like to keep it collage with photographs. If I cannot do that literally, then I'm really liking to put more a different kind of symbolism that means the same, or what it actually means, you know, in there. So again, I popped them up the screen if I did the editing right, which I will probably do because I was coughing a lot, and I'm gonna cut that all out, of course. So those 2 projects are the ones that I'm actually really working on. Even now that I was sick, you know, it gave me some time, you know, to work on it a little bit extra. Okay, let's move on. Another practice that I'm really involved in, which is of course the deck walk. I did a whole video on my recap of my Taurus season, so I will not go into this one too much. And yeah, Gemini just started, right? So yes, here, Gemini just started. I think by the time I put this video up, we will go almost in the second decan of Gemini already. I did here only what I had to do. I didn't deep dive into any other different subject because I was not feeling well. Even just doing the basics, the things that I needed to do, was already really very difficult for me. But yeah, I wanted to stay on top of everything. So yes, I wanted to stay on top of everything. I didn't want to be I didn't want to end up falling behind, you know. I'm really trying to have this be my focus throughout the year. So yes, I did do all of these things. I did my tarot reading with just one question. Very simple. What is at conflict within me? And I pulled two oracle cards and two tarot cards to relate to the oracles, you know. So that was a very simple reading, but a very effective one. So yeah, as you can see, I didn't go into a different subject, you know, a deeper dive into a subject, because again, I was just feeling like crap. My daughter was also sick, you know. It was just not the moment. Hopefully the next deck and the second one, I can dive a little bit deeper. Yeah, and if not, it will be for another time. I mean, I did do already some great work, right? I mean, the book is almost full. I need a new book. Yeah, and I thought really, I really thought that I could go with this book through the whole year, you know. I mean, spring is almost done, and then my book will be done. If I need one book for every season, I'm gonna need 4 books of this, but okay. We will see. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I did. Like I said, I did do, of course, a Taurus, but I did a big video about it. If you want to see it, I will put it in the description box to watch. So yes, I did everything with Taurus, and I actually did a recap about it. So yeah, the first decan of Gemini, Jupiter in Gemini, I did, and today or tomorrow we will roll into the second one, and I will be, of course, on top of that one. Well, that I think is my recap a little bit. I've really been focusing on my project, you know. For next month, because I think I said that last month that I was really focusing on printing some of my own decks. I have absolutely, well, don't get me wrong, I have a wish list of decks, you know, from here till, well, till America. Yeah, a never-ending list. Yeah, there are so many decks out there I wish I could get, or I want to get. But yeah, by the time that I want them then, or I can buy them, I'm always doubting. So this month, I actually planned only to get some of my own made decks. Because I just love the practice. I love when it's really focused. Yeah, let me get one again. This is a smaller one, but oh my god, it's perfect for me. I love the focus, you know, because I know I made all of these decks with this specific focus. I knew what I wanted to do with them. And I really like that. I do. I really like that. And in all honesty, I was kind of rushing myself with my toes, the photographic one that I just showed. Because I thought, well, maybe I can print it this month, but I don't want to rush, you know. I've actually really having a lot of fun with designing it, and I don't want to be rushing myself, you know. I might just give that this month, you know, so I can do some details, because the things I didn't do yet, which I do want to do, is the associations. So, for example, the planets and the zodiacs, you know, in the deck. I was still contemplating, do I want to put that like, well, I got my Gemini ones here. Do I want to put that like here, you know, in the artwork, or do I want to actually make a border for mine? Because as you saw, there is no border on mine right now at all. So I don't know if I want to put them in the artwork, because here it's always on the same places, right? Or at least in the minors, right? There's above and below, so it's always on the same places. And I don't know if I can do that with mine. So would I change that, or would I make even a small below border, you know, with the title and associations? But I was planning on not doing titles. So again, this is what I mean. I didn't want to rush it, you know, because there are decisions I want to make, and I want to make them, well, with a clear head, and not be rushed into it, you know. Anyway, I think this was March, and I might have done some more, who knows. I've been sick, yeah, my brain is a little bit of a mush. But these were the highlights, I think, of my practice, of projects that I'm actively working on, some new decks that came in, how I'm playing with, well, some of the decks I made myself, you know, why have I made them, what are their purposes, all of that. Okay, that was it then. I hope to see you all again soon. I want to thank you again for being here, especially if you watched all the way till the end. I want to wish you a great beginning of June. May we all be blessed, and may I hope that I may see you all again soon. Okay, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed. Okay, bye-bye.